Folks, this is Tom Martin. This is my lottery strategy game, Decoding the Powerball guessing game. I'm picking my numbers for the drawing on April 27th, 2019. If you'd like to get my game Decoding the Powerball, then please email me at decodingpowerball@gmail.com. Thank you, and please subscribe. Okay, so the object of my game is for you to correctly eliminate groups of numbers. There are 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball Lottery. Only 5 numbers can come up as winners, so that means 64 numbers can't come up at all. So for me, I think it should be easier to pick the numbers that won't be coming up than the 5 that actually do. So to help me do that, I'm going to turn to the 5 strategies of my game. So strategy number 1, the game card color code. Okay, so if you've never seen my videos before, why I make them is to show you on how to use my game. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the game card. This is a format that I came up with that represents the 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball Lottery. I really don't have anything for the Powerball itself. My goal is to get all 5 white balls correct and win the $2 million prize at the Power Play option. Okay, so first things first is I'm going to go to the Powerball homepage. And the 5 white winning numbers that just came up were the 6, 32, 35, 36, and 65. Again, I really don't care about the red ball. Okay, so what I do is I take those 5 white winning numbers and I put it at the top of this list. And now I'm going to find out what colors they are. Okay, so the 6 is green, the 32 is red, the 35 is blue, the 36 is green, and the 65 is red. Okay, so I'm going to color these in. So again, the 6 and the 36 are green. The 32 and 65 are red. And the 35 is blue. Okay, so now I'm going to count how many colors I have. I have 2 green, 2 red, and the blue for 3 colors total. Okay, so now I'm going to come up here. This is where I keep track of how many drawings. And now I'm up to 326 color code drawings I kept track of. Okay, so out of this 326 drawings, a 3-color combination has now come up 177 times here. Okay, so if you do some quick math and divide 177 into 326, you're going to see that a 3-color combination comes up more than half the time. Okay, and to me, that's huge, because if I just keep on picking a 3-color combination, I know statistically I'm going to be correct more than half the time. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a new game card. So I'm going to eliminate all these colors and start from scratch. Okay, so my color code is right here. You can see that this represents the red numbers, the orange, green, blue, and so on. Okay, so what I did here is I took the 69 white ball numbers, I divided it by 5 different colors, which equals 13.8. Okay, so my goal is to get as close to as 13 or 14 numbers per color as possible, okay? Or a good representation of each color. Okay, so again, I'm going to start with the red numbers, because red means hot, so these numbers just barely came up, so they're hot. So I'm going to start with the 6, and then the 32, 35, 36, 65. And then the next line is 3, 27, 30, 63, 65, which is already taken, okay? And then the 1, 15, 17, 46, and 66. So again, I'm going to make these red numbers, and now I'm going to count how many I have. So I have 3 and 2 is 5, and 2 is 7, 2 is 9, 10, and 4 is 14. So I'm going to leave this number right here, because up here it tells me how many colors I have on the game card. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to orange, and I'm going to start with the 4. And then the 17, which is already taken, the 26. 32 is taken, 49. And then the 12, 21, 23, 39, 67. And then the next line is 15, which is already taken, the 33, 43, 59, and 60. And then the last row is 16, 19, 25, 32, which is taken, and 49, which is taken. So again, I'm going to make this orange, okay? And going to count how many colors. So I got 2, and 4 is 6, and 5 is 11, and 3 is 14, and 1 is 15. So I got 15 orange numbers, okay? So a little bit more than I want, okay? I want that 13 or 14 mark. So the thing is that my color code is set in stone here, okay? So I can't change anything. So if I have too many orange numbers, I just can't go and erase this last line or make it green or whatnot, okay? So again, by doing this, by keeping this the way it is, it gives me a consistent balance of 5 different colored numbers, okay? So I'm going to keep on going here, and I'm going to go with the green, okay? So you can see that I started off with 3 red and then 4 orange, okay, and now I got 6 green. And the reason why I need 6 green lines like this is to give me that 13 or 14 mark that I need, okay? So as you see the color code, the game card filling up, again, I'm going to need more green to make up those numbers, okay? And then even more blue, and then whatever's left is all purple, okay? So when you see a purple number, that means it hasn't come up in 23 drawings, okay? So it's been really cold, okay? So I'm going to move on with the green, and that's going to start with the 21, which is taken. So I'll go to the 52, the 54, 64, 68, and then the next line is 16, which is taken, the 20, 37, 44, 62. Then the next line, 24, 25, which is taken, 52 is taken, 60 is taken, and 66 is taken. So moving on to the next line, 10, 14, 50, 53, 63 is taken. So the next line is 30, which is taken, the 34, 39 is taken, 53 is taken, 67 is taken. So last line, 18, 36 is taken, 45, 47, and 69. So I'm going to make these all green numbers and count how many I have. So I have 1, and 3 is 4, and 5 is 9, and 2 is 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 3 is 18. So I'm going to leave that right there at 18. Okay, so the thing about this is that, you know, this works like a caterpillar making its way down. Okay, so you can see with this green number here, I got the 18 is green, the 36 is red, the 45 and 47 and 69 are all green. Okay, so if these numbers don't come up, they're going to be leaving the green area regardless. Okay, so I expect this green to go down a lot with this next drawing. I think the blue will go up, and I think the purple will go up as well. Okay, so I think you get the gist of how I do things here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll to the right just to speed things up a little bit. Okay, so the game card came out to 14 red numbers, 15 orange, 18 green, 13 blue, and 8 purple. Okay, so again, the object of the game is to eliminate numbers. Okay, so again, more than half the time, a 3-color combination comes up. So that means more than half the time, 2 colors are not coming up. And that's what I want to focus on here. Okay, so you can see the last drawing had 3 colors, and it didn't have any orange numbers or purple numbers. Okay, so you can see that orange represented is actually 16 numbers last drawing, and purple had 8. Okay, so last drawing I guessed that no purple numbers came up, and I was right with that. Okay, so for this drawing I'm going to say that no blue numbers are going to come up. Okay, so we'll see what happens. All right, but I just going by the ebb and flow of things, I just think that no blue is going to come up. Okay, so I'm going to eliminate all these blue numbers. Okay, so just give me a second. Okay, so when I block out a number like this means that I'm not even going to consider this number when I'm picking what I think would be the 5-weight winning Powerball numbers, okay? So, in other words, what I'm doing is I'm spending $3 on a Powerball ticket, which includes the power play. So, in other words, I'm betting $3 that none of these blue numbers will come up in the next drawing, okay? So, if I'm correct with my pick and none of these blue numbers come up, then I'm one step closer to that $2 million prize. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 2, the individual numbers. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the individual numbers. Okay, so basically what I did is I took all 69 numbers and divided it into 7 different groups. Okay, let me reduce this down so you can see the whole card. Okay, so group number 1 has the 1 through 9 numbers. So this is the only group with 9. Okay, and then the other 6 have 10 numbers to it. Okay, for the whole 69. Okay, so again, just looking at this is how I try to determine what's going to come up as. Is it going to be more numbers to the high area or more numbers to the low area? But this is what I look at to kind of predict what kind of groups of numbers won't be coming up. Okay, so how this works is what you're looking at here, this big square right here, this is good for 5 drawings. Okay, so why I do things in 5 like this is when I go back into the history of things, it's easier to count going 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and so on, okay? But another reason why I do it is my theory is if there's a lot of hits within this 5 drawings for a certain group of numbers, then maybe there won't be so many hits in the next 5 drawings, okay? And that's where I'm going to look to eliminate groups of numbers, okay? So looking at this, again, I broke things down into 7 groups, okay? And there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers, okay? So I know that 2 of these groups cannot have a winning Powerball number to it. So the strategy is try to correctly guess which group won't have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card, okay? So what I'm going to do is my pick is that I don't think any 60 numbers are going to come up, okay? So if you look at the last, let's see, 5, 10, even 15 drawings, you can see that the 60 numbers have come up a lot, okay? And I just think that it's due to miss, okay? So, again, I'm going to go with I don't think any 60 numbers are going to come up, okay? So let me blow this back up. Okay, so here I want to go over how I update this, okay? So you can see that the 6 is not here, so I'm going to put this in. So I'm going to make this a green mark, okay? And that represents that the 6 and it was green, and it was green because of the color code said it was, okay? So now I'm going to count how many groups got hit in the last drawing. So you can see the 1 through 9 was one group, the 32, 35, 36 is in another group, and the 65 is in a third group, okay? So I'm going to put down that I hit 3 groups out of 7, okay? So that means 4 of these groups didn't come up in the last drawing, okay? So that's what I want to do is eliminate numbers, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the game card, okay? And I like to get you involved with this, okay? So if you could pause the video, okay, go grab some paper and draw out this game card, okay? It's 16 squares in this one square, okay? And just times it by 4, and you have 5 numbers off here to the left, okay? So draw that out real quick, okay? So when you're looking at the game card here, all right, if you want to follow me saying that no blue numbers are going to come up, then this is how your game card should look at home, okay? So what I want you to do is X out the numbers that you don't think are going to come up. Okay? So moving back to the game card here. So what I want you to do is look at this and the color code here and decide what color you think will not be coming up. Okay? So again, all 5 colors do come up. Okay? It's only been 12 times in the last 326 drawings though, okay? So all 5 colors do come up, but it's very rare, all right? So go ahead and decide what you think is not going to come up and eliminate those colors off of your game card. Okay, so I'm going to go to the individual numbers now here for you, okay? So again, I went with no 60 numbers. And I want you to look at this and decide for yourself which one of these groups will not have a mark to it. Okay? So if you need more time, then pause the video. And then when you made a decision, if you say no 40 numbers are going to come up or no 30 numbers, then go ahead and X out those 30 numbers off your game card. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the next strategy. Okay, and that's strategy number 3, the 50-50 picks. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the 50-50 picks. Okay, so again, there's 5 white winning Powerball numbers. So that means there has to be a majority of either even numbers or odd numbers, or numbers to the high side or numbers to the low side. So I like to keep track of that and try to correctly guess what the majority will be for the upcoming drawing. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to update this to 371 drawings, okay? And that goes back to October 15th, 2015. That's when the Powerball Lottery went from 59 numbers to 69 numbers, okay? So out of this 371 drawings, 195 drawings have been odd numbers, the majority of odd numbers, and 174 have been the majority of even numbers, okay? So just kind of looking at this, I haven't filled this in. You know what the winning numbers are, but maybe you can't remember. What do you think this is going to be? Do you think that the majority is going to be odds, or do you think the majority is going to be evens? Okay, so let me scroll down here a little bit. You can see that I broke things down into 5 drawings, and the reason why I do that is because it will show me the majority of what's been coming up. Okay, so with this 5, the majority has been even numbers, 4 drawings to 1. Okay, so let's go and find out what the majority was. So the numbers are 6, 32, 35, 36, 65. So there's 3 evens and 2 odds. Okay, so I'm not sure if you guessed that or not, but if you did, you're correct. So I'm going to make this 175. And that means 175 drawings have now been the majority of even numbers. Okay, so you can see it's a little behind on the odds here. So I think that this next drawing coming up, I think will be evens as well. Okay, so that's what I'm going to be looking for, is having at least 3 even numbers. Okay, and who knows, maybe even 4 or even 5. Okay, so moving on here. This is high and low, so all the numbers in blue are considered low, even though the 66, 65, and 67 are in the blue. When those numbers come up, I do record them as low numbers. Okay, so whatever's in the blue is considered low, whatever's in the red is considered high. Okay, you can see that after 371 drawings that these are really close together. 186 drawings to the red side and 185 to the blue side. Okay, so since the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drawings have been to the low side, I'm going to say that there's going to be more high numbers, or more numbers to the high side than the low side. Okay, so I'm going to write that down. Okay, and I want you to write it down as well. Whatever your pick is, I'm going to go with evens, and I'm going to go with the high side. Okay, so again, I think more numbers are going to be in this area right here. Okay, so as I go back to the 50-50 picks, I'm going to go to this where it's left and right. Okay, so looking at this, you know, I'm having a hard time making the decision on this. Okay, so I'm just going to leave this one alone. Okay, so this is why I give myself so many options, so many looks, or so many angles to look at this that I don't have to take every single one. Okay, so I'm going to leave this one alone. But if you're looking at it and you say, boy, look at all those rights, all those numbers to the right side, well, maybe it's time to be to the left. You just might be right. Okay, so you might want to write that down for yourself. Okay, and then moving on to this red and blue, you can see that the red has a huge majority, 207 drawings to 164. Okay, so for me, I think that well, here's another one that I'm just having a hard time picking. It just, everything says that, I think there's going to be more numbers to the blue side, but the red just comes up a lot more. Okay, so I'm not sure what's going to happen there, so I'm going to leave that one alone as well. Okay, but for you, I'll scroll down a little bit. You can see it's been red, blue, red, blue, red, blue, red. So maybe we'll be red, for this next 5 drawings. Who knows? Okay, so again, moving on. I do have something for the Powerball, that red number. Okay, I said it didn't matter to me all that much, but if you hit the Powerball, you get $4 back plus the power play. Okay, so yeah, it's really nice when you hit the red ball. Okay, so looking at this, how I broke things down is there's 26 red numbers total. So in this column, I just divided the numbers in 2. Okay, so if you see a blue number, that means it's low, 1 to 13. If you see a red number, that means it's high, 14 to 26. Okay, so over on this side, in this column, if you see a red number, that means it's odds. If you see a blue number, that means it's evens. Okay, so the reason why I do this is because now I just look at the colors. Okay, so when I see a long trail like this of blue numbers, well, I know it's going to be red eventually. I just have to correctly guess when that's going to happen. Okay, so if I say that this is going to be a red number, okay, and it does turn out to be a red number, well, I just cut the numbers in half for myself. Okay, so if I'm only going to look at the red numbers coming up, then that means I'm only going to be looking at the odd numbers, and there's only 13 odd numbers. Okay, so it's all about just eliminating things and giving yourself a better guess. Okay, so moving on, I'm going to go to my next strategy here. Actually, I'd like to make a prediction that I've been playing the 9 for a while, so I think that 9 is going to come up. I've been playing it for about 10 drawings now, so it's one of those things where if I don't take it now, it'll probably come up, So I'm going to stick with the 9. But for you at home, why don't you guess what you think it's going to be? Do you think that this is going to be a red number coming up? Or do you think it's going to be another blue? Okay. And over here, the same thing. Do you think it's going to be red or do you think it's going to be blue? Okay. So make that decision and write it down and pick your Powerball number. Okay. So moving on, I'm going to go to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 4, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 1. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 1 numbers. Okay, so basically what I did is I took all the 69 numbers and divided it into 4 different groups, okay, and put colors to these groups. So when the 5 white winning Powerball numbers land within these groups, I record where they land down here in the stats, okay? So I'll go ahead and update this, okay? So again, the numbers were 6, which is blue. The 32 is in blue. The 35 is in orange. And the 36 is in orange. And the 65 is in red, okay? So I have 1 red, 2 numbers in the blue area, 2 numbers in the orange area, and no winning numbers in the green area. Okay, so the strategy is try to correctly guess where these zeros are going to come up. Now, if I could have correctly guessed that none of these green numbers were going to come up, I could have eliminated all these green numbers and gave myself a much better chance at winning some kind of prize. Okay, so I'm going to update this again. So when a 0 comes up, I color the background blue for cold, and when there's a hit, I color the background red for hot. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make this 94. And this tells me how many blue marks are in this column here, okay? So far I'm up to 94, 102 over here, 91. So this red area is kind of way behind, okay? So I'm going to make this a 12, and this tells me how many numbers are in the streak right here, okay? So you can see over here, when it came to 12, the streak ended, okay? So this is where the 50-50 picks come in. Okay, so my guess was that I think there's going to be more even numbers than odd, and also I think there's going to be more numbers to the high side, which is this area right here, okay? So that means that only 2 numbers could be down here in the low area, okay? So this is why it's good to envision what you think is going to happen through the 50-50 picks, okay? So I don't really see it. Excuse me. Sorry about that. I don't really see anything here with this number 1, okay? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go off to option card number 2. Now I have 15 of these option cards, okay? And the reason why is because I want as many options as possible to look at to say, I don't believe that this group of numbers is going to come up, okay? So I'm going to update this one as well. Okay, so the 65 was over here, okay, in the red. And the blue had the 35, 36. Okay, the orange had no winning power. The orange had the 6 in there. Sorry about that. And the 32 is in the green area. Okay, so when that happens, I call this a row where all 4 colors had a winning Powerball number to it. Okay. So I'm going to make this 14 now. Okay. It's in a streak of 14 here, okay? So when this happens like this, when it gets up to 14 drawings in a row, you know, I look at it and say, well, it's going to miss at some point, okay? Over to the side, I have the how long the longest streak is for this option card, and this one is 20. Okay, so it's way behind on the record, but it could go at any second, especially when there's 2 rows like this. Usually after 2 rows, there's a 0, okay, somewhere along here. You know, like over here, you can see the zeros right here, okay? So who knows what's going to happen? It could be another row right here, so I'm going to leave this one alone as well. Okay, so here with the third, again, I think more numbers are going to be up here, okay? And less numbers down here, okay? Only 1 or 2 down here. So I'm either going to be looking at the red or the blue area to get rid of. And I don't really see anything that tells me which one, so I'm going to move on to the option card number 4. Okay, so here you see a row and another row way down here, and it's just so sporadic that I think that another row is going to come up here. So I think that all 5 white winning Powerball numbers will represent all 4 colors. Okay, so I'm going to leave this one alone as well. So I'm going to move on to number 5. Okay, here This doesn't help me out as much either. The thing that I look at is how many single zeros there are, okay? Because you can see that sometimes they double up or even triple up. In here you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 single zeros, okay? So maybe it's time that this is going to double up. Who knows, okay? I want something a little bit more, something that tells me a little bit more, okay? So I'm going to move on to the next one. Here, this is where, this is the only one, number 6, that is broken into odd numbers and even numbers, okay? So all the odds are in red and orange, and all the evens are blue and green, okay? So I think there's going to be more even numbers, okay? So if I'm going to eliminate anything, it's going to be either the red or the orange, okay? And looking at this, you know, I'm not really sure what's going to happen, so that's not really helping me either. And again, this is why I gave myself so many option cards here, okay? So here's one that I'm going to pick at, okay? I'm going to pick something here in this number 7, okay? So just looking at this, you can see that the green is so far behind at 61, okay? So as I go down, you see a bunch of single green marks, okay? So one of the reasons why I'm picking this as well is, well, the first reason is because there's not that many green marks, okay? Blue marks, I mean, zeros, okay? So another thing is a 1 comes up a lot, okay? So if there was a 0 right here, then I would be putting a 1 right here, okay? And the thing is again, that 1 comes up a lot, like it's over here, okay? Right down here, down here, down here. It just comes up a lot, okay? So looking at this green, as I scroll down through, you can see that it hasn't been a 1 in a long time, okay? Where you look at the other 3 over here, you can see here's a 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, you know, 1, 1, 1, okay? So I just think it's a good opportunity for this to be a 1 right here, okay? So I'm going to get rid of these green marks here off of my game card, okay? So I got the 4 corners, I got this right in the middle, and then the 34, 35, 45, 69, okay? So again, all 4 corners right here in the middle. Now the 19 shares the square with the 67, and I'll go over that in a second. The same with the 58 and 68, the 53 and the 69. Okay, so I'm getting rid of a ton of numbers here, okay? So you can see that over here to the left, I don't have any numbers. And as I go back to the game card, I have these 5 numbers over here, okay? So this is where I say that this is sharing the square, okay? So as I go back to this, what I did is I want this grid of 64. You know, there's 8 squares across, 8 squares down. That's what I want, okay? But there's 69 numbers, so I had to incorporate those 5 numbers in here somewhere, okay? So if I'm going to eliminate this square right here, I'm going to eliminate all these numbers plus the 8 and the 66, okay? So it's just putting numbers in the groups and trying to decide whether they're going to come up as a group or not come up as a group, okay? So right now I'm eliminating numbers, so I want to look at things and say what is not going to come up, okay? So for you at home, you may want to go with this red, okay? 12 drawings in a row, who knows, all right? So moving on to number 8. Having this red, having a 0 here in the red area looks pretty attractive, but I'm not going to take it, okay? Just because way back here, you can see that there was a ton of single zeros, okay? So if there's a ton of single zeros down here, then it's probably not going to happen up here, okay? So I expect more grouping up, okay? Doubles and triples in this red area here, okay? So this may be a good pick right here for you at home to get rid of all these red numbers, okay? So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take another one, okay? Even though I have 15 of these option cards, I only like to take one or two at the most, because there's so many variables with the rows here and things like that, okay? So, you know, if you could guess two, you're really good at guessing, okay? So I'm going to look at this option card number 9 for you, okay? Here it could be the green, okay? But for some reason, when there's a 3 like this, hardly ever does a 0 come up after for some reason, you know? So looking at this, I'm thinking that a green number will be coming up. Which one? I'm not sure, but I know that a 50 number hasn't come up in a while, okay? So it could be that 51. All right, but for you at home, here's one with the red. You know how those ones come up a lot? As I head down through, there hasn't been a 1 in a while, so maybe you want to be picking this red, that none of these red numbers will come up. Okay, so moving on. Here with this number 10, there hasn't been a row in a very long time. Okay, so I got 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 drawings in a row where there hasn't been, where all 4 colors had a winning Powerball number to it. Okay, so I'm not going to touch that. I think that's going to be a row. Okay, so I'm going to move on. Again, right here, I'm looking to eliminate numbers. Okay, so here, you may want to go with this green. Okay, because there might be one right here. All right. So moving on to 12. Over here in the red could be another third 0, like right here, okay? It hasn't been a group of 3 in a while, okay? So you might want to take that red. Okay, and moving on to 13. Here you got a double row, so usually there's going to be a 0 here somewhere, you know, could be this red. All right. Moving on, this is where I'm going to take my second one. Okay. Option card 14. I'm thinking that no green numbers are going to come up. Okay, and the reason why is you can see that it's been 26 drawings in a row and then 8. Okay, and there's a bunch of single zeros here. Okay, so I'm thinking that there's going to be a 0 right here. Okay, and you can see that the green's way behind as well. Okay, so I'm going to go with the pattern of 1, 12, 17, 28 in all 4 of these squares here. So 1, 12, 17, 28. Okay. Okay, so hopefully those numbers don't come up, okay? So moving on, I'm going to go back to this group 1. There's one more option card. Okay, so looking at this, there hasn't been a row here in a while, so I think a row just may come right back up, okay? So I'm going to leave that one alone as well. Okay, so over here, this is what I call the Group 1 overview, okay? So this represents all 15 of the option cards. So you can see with all 15 option cards, I kept the same colors, red, blue, orange, green for all 15 of them, okay? So I keep track of those colors as a group for all 15 option cards, okay? So in the last drawing, you can see that in the red areas, there was 5 zeros to it, okay? So when that's 5 or more, I color the background blue for cold. If there's 4 or less, then I color the background red for hot, Okay, so that gives me some separation. So when I'm looking at like this orange here, I think that this might be a blue mark here. That means I think that at least 5 out of the 15 option cards will have a 0 to it. Okay, so this is nice to look at and try to guess. You know, if it is orange, then you know, this option card 15 looks pretty attractive with 9 drawings in a row. Maybe this is due for a 0. Okay, or as you go back into back in looking at these option cards, you might have a different perspective now to say, well, I'm going to specifically look at the orange areas because this is where I think they're going to have the most zeros, like right here. Okay, so maybe this number 9 here will will have a 0, then followed by a 0. So maybe none of these orange numbers will come up on this option card number 9. Okay, so we'll see what happens. Okay, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go off to the next strategy, and that's strategy number 5, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 2. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 2 numbers. Okay, so much like group 1, where I divided things into 4 different color groups, here I divided things into 8 different color groups. Okay, so it's just another way of looking at groups of numbers. Okay, but the thing with this one is that, again, there's 8 color groups here, and there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so I know that 3 of these color groups cannot have a winning Powerball number to it. Okay, so the strategy is try to correctly guess which one of these color groups will not have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate that color group off of the game card. Okay, so how I use this here is I'm going to update this card here. Okay, so again, the winning numbers for last drawing were the 6, and that was in the brown area, the 32 in the yellow, 35 in the orange, 36 in the green, and 65 in the red. Okay, so as I go down through this, I'm going to say 1 red, 1 orange, 1 green, 1 brown, 1 yellow. Okay, so this helps me update this. So I'm starting here. So there's 1 red, that's 65. Okay, there was no winning blue numbers. There's 1 in the orange, 1 in the green, 0 in the purple, 1 in the brown, that's 6. No winning numbers in the green and the gray, and that 32 in the yellow. Okay, so over here I count how many groups got hit. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups that hit. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this 5 red because the majority of the numbers were over here to the left side. Okay, so when I look through the history of things, when I see like this green 4, I know that for this drawing, the majority of the numbers were over here to the right side. Okay, so when I see a long thing of green like this, that means, well, eventually it's going to turn red. So I'm going to be looking at the zeros to be coming up over here to the right side. Okay, so in other words, if I think that this next drawing is going to be a red number, then the majority of the numbers will be over here to the left side. Okay. And again, it's just my guess, so I could be wrong. That's what happens when you guess. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make a prediction on what color group is not going to come up. Okay. And for me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to guess that the 0 is going to be right here. Okay. So again, I know that there's going to be 3 zeros here. Now, the reason why I'm taking this red is because you can see how much red is through here. Okay, I guess I never explained this, so let me explain it to you now. What I like to do is break things down into 5, so I record 5 drawings at a time. Okay, so if there's 3 or more zeros or 3 or more misses in this red area, I'm going to color the background blue for cold. Okay, so here, the next one down, if there's 3 or more hits, if 3 or more of these red Powerball numbers have come up in 5 drawings, I'm going to color the background red for hot. Okay, so as I scroll down through, this is what random looks like. Okay, we all know the lottery is random. Okay, And this is what random looks like. So when you see something that's been really, really hot like this right here, well, eventually it's going to turn cold eventually. You just have to correctly guess when that's going to happen, okay? So I think the 0 is going to be right here, and we'll see what happens. So I'm going to eliminate these red numbers off of my game card, okay? The 1 through the 57. Okay, so the 9, 65, the 25 shares the square with the 65 and the 57. So if you're asking yourself, well, how do I know which one of these, how do I know where this 8 shares the square with, you know? And it's simple. You just count as normal. Everybody knows that 5, 6, 7, 8, the 8 should be here, okay? And that's how you know which two numbers are sharing that square. Okay, so moving on. For you at home, I want to scroll down slowly for you. And you pick where you think that 0 is going to be. Okay, so if you think the 0 is going to be right here in the gray area, okay, then go up and X out those gray numbers off of your game card. Okay, so moving on to number 2. Okay, so for me, I'm going to go with orange. And as I scroll down, you see that orange got a little hot through here. There's a 0, and I think a 0 is going to follow it. Sorry about that. I have to update this too. Okay, so let me update this one, and it's red, green, purple, purple, green. So red, 2 green, 2 purple. So down here in the red area, I have 1. No winning Powerball numbers in the blue. No winning Powerball numbers in the orange. There's 2 winning Powerball numbers in the green area. And 2 in the purple. No winning Powerball numbers in the brown area. None in the gray area. And none in the yellow area. So again, the strategy is try to guess where these zeros are going to pop up, okay? So at the minimum, there's going to be 3 zeros here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros, okay? So again, how many colors groups got hit? I got 1, 2, and 3. Okay, the majority is over here to the left side, and that's why that 3 is red, okay? So again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick that no orange numbers are going to come up. So I think the 0 is going to be right here. So I'm going to eliminate those orange numbers off of my game card. And that's the 17 that runs to the 24. So hopefully those numbers don't come up. And I'm going to get rid of the 20, 22, 23, 24. Okay, so moving on. For you at home, I'm going to scroll down slowly. And again, I want you to decide where you think one of those zeros will pop up. Again, there's going to be a minimum of 3 of them. Now, you could do anything that you want to do, but I recommend that you just pick 1 0 and move on to the next one, okay? So if you say, oh, I think a 0 is going to be here, 0, here, and here, you know, you could be right, but the more you pick at this, the greater the chance of you getting it wrong, okay? So if you just pick at 1, you have a pretty good chance of getting that correct, okay? So make your selection, okay? If you need more time, then pause the video and then X out that color group off your game card. Okay, so moving on to 3. For me, I'm going to go with no brown. Okay, so here's the brown area, and as I head down through, you can see things got really, really hot through here, so I kind of think that there's going to be a long thing of blue coming up. So I'm going to guess that the 0 is going to be right here, okay? So we'll see what happens. So I want to get rid of those brown numbers, which is the 5 and the 34. So the only one left is the 50. So hopefully that doesn't come up. Okay. So moving on. For you at home, I'm going to scroll down slowly. See a lot of red through here. Okay. So you decide where you think that 0 is going to be. Okay. If you need more time, then pause the video. And then X out that color group off your game card. Okay, so again, I have 15 of these option cards. Okay, so moving on to option card number 4. For me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick that no gray numbers are going to come up. Okay, so as I scroll down through, you see that things got pretty hot through here. So again, I think the 0 is going to be right here. Okay, so we'll see what happens. So I'm going to get rid of this gray, and that's the 17 and 69. I'll get rid of that 54. Okay, so moving on for you at home, I'm going to scroll down slowly for you. Okay, you decide where you think that 0 is going to be. If you need more time, then pause the video. And then X out that color group off your game card. Okay, so moving on to number 5. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go with no purple numbers. So as I scroll down through, you can see that purple got pretty hot through here, okay? And now I think there's going to be a 0, okay? Plus, in the last 5 drawings, there's been a purple number here that's come up, okay? So hopefully it's just due to miss. And I'm going to eliminate these purple numbers off of my game card. And the only one there is the 4. So hopefully that doesn't come up. Okay, so moving on for you, I'm going to scroll down slowly. Okay, you decide where you think that 0 is going to be. Okay, if you need more time, then pause the video. And then X out that color group off your game card. Okay, moving on to number 6. Okay, for me, I'm going to take no orange. As I scroll down through, you see that things got pretty hot through here, so I think the 0 is going to be right here. Okay, we'll see what happens, but I'm going to get rid of these orange numbers. And that's the 5, 14, 21, 30, all the way down. So that knocked out 3 numbers. So hopefully those 3 numbers don't come up. Okay, so for you at home, I'm going to scroll down slowly for you. And you decide where you think that 0 is going to be. If you need more time, then pause the video. And then X out that color group off your game card. Okay, so moving on to number 7. Okay, so for me, I'm going to say no brown. As I scroll down through, see that things got a little hot through here, so I think the 0 is going to be right here. Okay, so again, we'll see what happens. And I'm going to eliminate those brown numbers, the 1, 10, 3, 12, all the way across. So there goes the 3. Hopefully that doesn't come up. Okay, so for you at home, I'm going to scroll down slowly here for you. You see how hot this green was, so maybe that green won't be coming up. Okay, so if you need more time, then pause the video. And then X out that color group off your game card. Okay, so moving on to number 8. I'm going to go with no red numbers. Okay, so here's the red. And as I scroll down through, see that things got pretty hot through here. Okay. Pretty long line here. So I think the 0 is going to be right here. Again, we'll see what happens. But I'm going to get rid of these red numbers, the 5, 16, 21, 31, all the way down. I'll get rid of that 63. Okay, so moving on. For you at home, I'm going to scroll down slowly. Again, you decide where you think that 0 is going to be. Okay, so if you need more time, then pause the video. And then X out that color group off your game card. Okay, so moving on to number 9. I'm going to go with no blue numbers. Okay, so here's the blue. As I scroll down, you can see that things got pretty hot. Okay, but here things got really, really hot, so I think the 0 is going to be right here. Okay, so we'll see what happens. And I'm going to eliminate the 227 on the left side and the 1621 on the right side. And that's it. So I'll get rid of the 27. Hopefully that baby doesn't come up. Okay. So going back for you, going to scroll down slowly. Certainly this yellow looks pretty attractive as well. But again, I don't like to pick 2 of them, okay? Even though they both look pretty attractive and they'll probably both have a 0 to it. Who knows, okay? So make your decision on where you think that 0 is going to be. If you need more time, then pause the video. And then X out that color group off your game card. Okay, so moving on to number 10. For me, I'm going to say no gray numbers are going to come up. So here's the gray. You see how hot this was, okay? It's still hot. I think the 0 is going to be right here. Okay, so we'll see what happens. And I'm going to eliminate the 1728, that pattern all the way around. So you can see that they're all gone. So that happens sometimes, okay? So for you at home, I'm going to scroll down slowly here for you. And you decide where you think that 0 is going to be. Okay, if you need more time, then pause the video. And then X out that color group off your game card. Okay, so just 5 more game cards to go. Group 2 cards here, option cards. Okay, so moving on to 11. For me, I'm going to say no orange numbers. Okay, and scrolling down, you can see how hot this orange has gotten. Okay, and again, I think the 0 is going to be right here. So we'll see what happens. And I'm going to eliminate the 66, 67, 33, and 54. And you can see all those numbers are gone. So nothing I can do about that. Again, I made my pick. I'm not going to go back and pick from this 11 again. Okay, even though there was no numbers to eliminate. Okay, so for you at home, I'm going to scroll down slowly here for you. And you decide where you think that 0 is going to be. Again, if you need more time, then pause the video. And then X out that color group off your game card. Okay, so moving on to 12. Okay, for me, I'm going to go with no purple numbers as I scroll down here. See that thing's got pretty hot, so I think the 0 is going to be right here. Okay, so I want to get rid of these purple numbers, and that's the 6 that runs down to the 30, and the 34 runs down to the 68. So I'm going to get rid of the 6 and the 30. So hopefully those numbers don't come up. Okay, so for you at home, I'm going to scroll down slowly here for you. and you decide where you think that 0 is going to be. So again, if you need more time, then pause the video and then X out that color group off your game card. Okay, so moving on to 13. Okay, for me, I'm going to go with no purple numbers. Okay, so as I scroll down through, see that purple got pretty hot through here. Okay, and now I think a 0 is going to be right here. So I'm going to get rid of those purple numbers. And that's the 17 that runs to the 20 and the 69 that runs to the 56. So I'll get rid of that 26. Hopefully that doesn't come up. Okay, and for you at home, I'll scroll down slowly here for you. Okay, so you decide where you think that 0 is going to be. Pause the video if you need more time. And then X out that color group off your game card. Okay, just 2 more left. Okay, so going to 14. For me, I said no purple numbers. As I scroll down through. Again, I think the 0 is going to be right here. Just a gut feeling. We'll see what happens. So I'm going to get rid of these squares inside here. I'll get rid of the 15 and the 43. Okay, that 60 should be gone because I said no 60 numbers. Okay. So there it is. There's the 5 numbers. Okay, and the next one, I was going to, I'm sorry, got to scroll down for you here, so I'm going to scroll down slowly for you. Okay, you decide where you think that 0 is going to be. If you need more time, then pause the video. And then X out that color group off your game card. Okay, so moving on to 15. I went with purple again. So scrolling on down here. You see that things got pretty hot through here, so I think the 0 is going to be here. Okay, and as I head up, you can see the purple numbers. The 6 runs to the 24 and the 41 to the 59. You can see there's nothing to get rid of. Okay, so these are the 5 numbers I'm going to be going with. Okay, so I'm going to go back for you here. I'm going to scroll down slowly. You see a bunch of red over here. Okay, so maybe this will go on a run of green. Who knows? Okay, but you decide where you think that 0 is going to be. If you need more time, then pause the video. And then X out that color group off your game card. Okay, so again, the numbers I'm going to go with are the 36, 39, 40, 47, and 52. Okay, so we'll see what happens here. But that's what I'm going to go with. Okay, so again, I thought there was going to be more even numbers, so the 36, 40, and 52 will make that happen, and more to the high side, so you can see all 5 of these numbers are to the high side. Okay, so we'll see what happens. All right, so what I like to do is go over the odds with you. Okay, so to get the grand prize, takes all 5 white balls and a red ball. The odds of doing that are 1 in 292 million. Okay, just getting all 5 white balls correct, that's my goal. Okay, if I get the red ball correct, then bonus, right? But the odds of doing this, getting all 5 white balls correct, are 1 in 11,688,000. Okay, so odds are pretty steep. All right, so the next prize is 4 white balls and a red ball. That pays 50,000 plus whatever the power play is, 2, 3, 4, or 5. All right, and the odds are just about 1 in a million of doing that. Okay, so moving on to the more realistic odds to getting 4 white balls correct, or 3 with the red ball. That pays $100 plus whatever the power play is. Okay, and if you get 2 white balls, then 3 white balls, then that pays $7. Okay, and the odds of that are 1 in 701. Okay, so I just want to go over a budget with you. You know, they always say to play responsibly. You can see with the odds that you really should play responsibly. Okay, so if you spend $3 per drawing, there's 2 drawings a week, so that equals $312 per year that you would be spending in the lottery. Okay, so that's my 2 cents there. So in closing, I just want to thank you for watching. Okay, if you'd like to support my channel, then please go to my Patreon page at www.patreon.com/Decoding the Powerball. And as always, I want to wish you the best of luck with your picks.